Welcome to another edition of City Beat. For the Herald and Review, I'm Kenneth Lowe. If you're like me and the many other residents of Decatur, in the past couple of weeks, as you've been digging around in your mailbox, going past those bills you've probably already paid online and the Netflix DVDs that you couldn't instantly stream online, you ran into some mailers from the candidates in the 101st Illinois House District. Now, it seems like for the past couple weeks, I've been doing one story after another, trying to look into the claims that are made on these ads and to debunk them. So I thought it would be good for us to get them all together here in this video, take a look at the claims they've made, and see which ones are kind of dubious, which ones are factual, and how they all stack up. But first, let's get some background on our two belligerents. State Representative Bob Fliers is running for re-election. The Mount Zion Democrat and former mayor is now in his fourth term in office. His Republican challenger in the race is Decatur City Councilman Adam Brown, who was elected to the council in April of last year. Brown was appointed to run against Fliers in March after the previous Republican nominee stepped down. Both campaigns have been pretty clean and quietly run until the last couple of weeks. In fact, the candidates even faced off without any apparent jabs at one another at a recent forum that we covered at the Decatur Area Technical Academy. Now, however, it seems they're both going negative. Fliers' campaign sent out this mailer to residents, which superimposes Groucho Marx-style disguise glasses over Brown's face in the accompanying image. The mailer goes on to accuse Brown of pay-to-play politics for accepting a $250 donation from a local contractor a few days before approving a bid in his role as a Decatur City Councilman. The claims don't really hold up, though. The contractor who contributed to Brown has also contributed to Fliers in the same modest amounts over the years, and the contract Brown approved was part of the council's consent calendar, a list of minor, mundane actions largely determined by city staff rather than the council and usually not debated. The mailer also cited other contracts Brown had approved by the same contractor that, while worth more, were open to a bidding process and were decided months before Brown was even appointed to run against Fliers. At about the same time, Brown began running this ad.
My opponent wants to double taxes on families and business.
In it, Brown criticizes Fliers on his record with the state's budget, but also touts his own efforts on the Decatur City Council. He claims he and the council members turned the city's $4 million budget deficit into a $1 million surplus. In reality, Brown voted against the city budget, which made those cuts, citing a cut to a local senior center as his reason for opposing the budget. The budget, which did have a projected $4.5 million deficit, only projects a surplus of about $500,000. If that $500,000 is added to the $500,000 already in the city's general fund balance, it would total $1 million, but only the $500,000 would technically be a budget surplus. Fliers has called for the ad to be removed. As of today, it's still running. Both of the mailers we got from Brown's campaign reference a number of votes Fliers has made in the General Assembly related to tax, spending, and borrowing increases. We looked into the votes the mailers referenced and found that Fliers did vote in favor of the legislation listed, though not every measure ended up passing, and Fliers voted against at least one amendment to a piece of legislation cited. One of the votes in the mailer points at a constitutional amendment Fliers did vote in favor of, which ultimately would be decided not by the General Assembly's vote, but by voters at the ballot box in November. Specifically, it would have raised the income tax on Illinoisans who make more than $250,000 a year. Two other mailers from Fliers accuse Brown of calling for cuts to vital services like senior citizens programs and police and fire protection. As we reported, Brown resisted a cut to the senior center in his budget vote. While Brown has called for broad cuts and resisted tax increases in his campaign rhetoric, we couldn't find any specific references he made to cutting public safety agencies. Both Fliers' most recent mailers also quote former Governor Jim Edgar's earlier statement that making across-the-board cuts is a naive approach to fixing the budget. The mailers seem to imply Edgar is commenting on Brown's campaign, but in reality it's a quote taken from an interview where Edgar was criticizing the plan put forth by Bill Brady, the Republican running for governor. As we approach the final weeks of this campaign season, we're likely to see more of such mailers and TV ads. And if I've missed any of them or I miss some of them in the future, please send them to me. You can send me a mailer or you can mention a TV ad to me at my email address. Let me know if you see something positive, something negative, or something that looks dubious. I want to look into all of it. So, email me here. And that's what's happening in the city this week. For the Herald and Review, I'm Kenneth Lowe. Take care.